Hello BookTube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth and this is my August and September book haul of the books that I accumulated in the YA and middle grade and children's genres. I've already posted my video of the women's fiction and nonfiction and classics that I bought, as well as a different video of the cozy mysteries and an unboxing that of my prize I received. What Christie's Reading did a 100 subscriber giveaway and I won. So if you want to see the book that I won from her giveaway, you'll need to check out the cozy mysteries video that I have already posted. For this video, I'd like to show you the books for younger readers, and not all of them are for me. Some are for our little free library and a few I have bought as gifts. So let me start with the books for the youngest readers and I'll move my way up to YA. I did pick up one children's book that I thought my daughter might enjoy, my oldest daughter who still reads children's books. She's the one with autism. I don't think I'm going to give it to her though. I'm probably going to take it back to the library because it's pretty ridiculous, but it's called Walter the Farting Dog, Trouble at the Yard Sale. It turns out there's a whole series of Walter the Farting Dog stories. It's a little bit off the wall. The illustrations, it's very colorful, and at first glance it's beautifully illustrated, but if you really start looking at it closely, the faces of the people are kind of creepy. The faces of the animals are great, but the people faces I'm not a fan of. Now I totally appreciate and understand the amazing work that goes into illustrating a book. It's a lot of work. I've already reviewed a book that was done by a friend of mine that I work with, and I know that illustrating a book, is a children's book especially, is a lot of work. So I appreciate what the artist has done here, and I'm not trying to be critical, but the faces are just, I think because my daughter has autism and she already has trouble with kids' faces, I'm not going to give her this book because I think she will kind of freak out about the faces. But they're really fun. At least this one is. I looked it up on my library, and the library actually has some of the other books in this series, so I may take a look at them. But I thought I'd show it to you because it's hilarious. I'll tell you who I do recommend this for. I recommend this book for reluctant young readers, especially boys maybe, who don't really think that they enjoy reading, but if you can give them something gross or stinky to read about, then they'll enjoy that. So this is that book, Walter the Farting Dog. It is a series, so check it out. Check it out at your library or go and buy the book. This book is from Dutton's Children's Books, which is a division of Penguin Young Readers Group. So yeah, Walter the Farting Dog. Who knew? I've seen this book around and like in school libraries, and always thought it looked cute. I have no idea what it's about, but I think it was a quarter, and I may take a look at it, may read it myself, and then I'll probably pass it on to our little free library. But The Curse of the Campfire Weenies and Other Warped and Creepy Tales by David Lubar. So it just looks really fun. I found book 2 of the Spiderwick Chronicles called The Seeing Stone, and these are by Tony DeTierlizzi and Holly Black. So I have not read these yet. I just picked up book 1 a couple months ago. I was subbing the other day in a town that I don't get to very often, where they happen to have a used bookstore. So I had to pop inside, and I found a copy of Darth Paper Strikes Back by Tom Engelberger. This is the second in the Origami Yoda series. If you saw my Scholastic book haul that I did back earlier in the summer, I was able to get 4 of these books, but I haven't started reading them yet because I didn't have the second one, and I think I'm still missing the 4th one. So I was excited to find this, and it's in really good condition. I think I paid $3 for it, which is a little more than I like to pay for a used paperback, but it's in really good shape, and I really wanted it. Couple of books I picked up for my great nephew, which is my sister's grandson. He had a birthday this summer, and I remember sending a Facebook message saying, tell him I'll be sending something, and then I just forgot. Actually, I started booktubing and everything else went out the window. Completely forgot. So I ran across a copy of The Whipping Boy the other day, which is one of my favorite books for kids, and especially for boys. I think this is such a fun book. Everybody ought to read this. It's great. So this is not the best copy in the world, but it's still definitely readable, and it's not in very it's in pretty decent shape. Then I found an almost like new copy of Stuart Little, and I don't know if I've ever actually read Stuart Little. I think I listened to it on audio. I know I've seen the movies, but I thought this was a good classic children's story. And I may also send him a copy of Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, which is one of my favorite kids' books as well. The Whipping Boy and Mrs. Frisbee are both Newbery winners, and I'm sure Stuart Little has won some awards too. So I thought that would be a nice belated gift to send him. Two books I picked up for the Little Free Library downtown. I got Judy Moody and the Bad Luck Charm by Megan McDonald. I also got the first book in the 39 Clues. This is The Maze of Bones by Rick Riordan. And I also picked up a hardback copy of The Maze of Bones, which I've already put on my shelf, but my copy was missing. I have almost the whole 39 Clues series, the first series, in hardback. One of my daughter's friends borrowed book one and didn't return it. So that's a couple years ago now, and I had been looking for a replacement because that's one of the books that I like to take with me if I'm going to be subbing in like 4th or 5th grade, because if there's ever any extra time, sometimes substitute teachers have to be able to fill in time. Usually teachers will leave plenty of stuff to do, but occasionally you find yourself in a situation where you need to fill time. And the first couple of chapters of The Maze of Bones are a great read aloud because it gets them interested and gets them started on a really great series that they could then, you know, pick up and read for themselves. So I enjoy having my own copy of The Maze of Bones, and so now that I found it in hardback, I had actually bought this first. I was going to hang on to it until I found a hardback copy, and then I found a hardback copy. So this is going in the Little Free Library. Then I found this in the free bin at one of my favorite libraries to visit, and it's a pretty worn out copy, but it's the first in the Heroes of Olympus series called The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan, and I'm going to put it in the Little Free Library. A couple of classics that I found, kids classics. Found a copy of Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawl. If you've never read the book, it's very good, and there are at least two movies, but this is a very, very good book. It's just wonderful, very heartwarming, about a boy and his hunting dogs and their adventures. So I definitely recommend this book. Found book 5 of the Nancy Drew series called The Secret of Shadow Ranch by Carolyn Keene. I'm not trying to collect Nancy Drew books on purpose. I have about 4 already of this edition, and a lot of times when I find them, whoever's selling them wants wants several dollars per copy, but this I think was 50 cents, so it needs a little bit of cleaning up, but otherwise it's in good condition, so I figured since I didn't have this one, I'd go ahead and pick it up. Then this is a book for 12 and older, and this is a middle grade book, but it is has a Christian theme. It's published by Focus on the Family, and it says it's book 3 in the China Tate series, and this book is called Project Black Bear by Lisa Halls Johnson. And I've not read anything in this series, but I thought I might like to take a look at it, and maybe I can get my daughter to read it too. So looks like it is an adventure story. She enjoys books that she likes animals, and so I thought she might enjoy this the book about bears. And speaking of animals, I found another book in the Vet Volunteers series. This one is called Teacher's Pet. This is book 7. We've got like book 2 and book 6. So I've been collecting these books should she ever want to read these, because she does want to be a veterinarian, and I thought these might be good books for her to read. Another book I got for my daughter Katie. This will go in with her Christmas stuff because this is a practically new copy, even though I did get it used. It's the Hunger Games Tribute Guide, and she has pretty much everything Hunger Games that's been published, I think, but we don't have this, so I thought I would pick this up and save this for Christmas. Speaking of Hunger Games, I found a large print version of Mockingjay. Now, we've got all the Hunger Games books, as I said, but I thought I might, since I think this was a quarter, I would put this in the Little Free Library. These two books I was excited to find just recently at a library book sale. They were in the bargain area, and I was very surprised because I live in Florida, and right now Stung is one of this year's Sunshine State books, which it's a nominee or a finalist for the Sunshine State Young Reader Award, which if you've watched anything on my channel, I've been talking about these a lot lately. I have not posted my review yet of Stung, but I have read it. But also the book Cured, which is the sequel. They were sitting right there together, and since I had a library copy, I decided I'd go ahead and pick up a copy of this because my daughter Katie said that she did want to read this at some point. So I figured, why not go ahead and pick up the set, and I'm looking forward to reading Cured. And so yeah, I found a copy of Aragon by Christopher Paolini, and I believe this is book 1 of the series. I've not read any of these books. I see them in the school library occasionally, and I was just talking to a kid the other day when I was volunteering at the school library who had book 3, and man, it's a chunker, and he was saying that he had already read the others, so he recommended it. He said they were very good. I think I've seen these books on some of the some other booktubers' shelves, so since I recognized it, I thought I'd go ahead and pick it up. I think it was $1. We have pretties and uglies and a bonus book, but we don't have specials, and so now we have everything but specials. This is Extras by Scott Westerfeld. It's part of the Uglies series, and our other 2 are paperbacks, but this was such a nice copy, and I think it was 50 cents at a charity thrift store, that I decided to go ahead and pick it up. The first 2 of the Sisterhood books I found at one library, and then the third one I found at my library. I believe it was book 3 is a library edition, so it's got the stamps on it, but that's okay. I don't mind that. The first one, The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants by Amber Shares, and then The Second Summer of the Sisterhood, and then Girls in Pants, The Third Summer of the Sisterhood. And my sister recently said that she had been reading these and had been really enjoying them and recommended that I read them too. I was at a charity thrift shop the other day, and in their book section they had several copies of this one book, and I don't know if they were 50 cents or $1, but and I don't know anything about it. It's called So Be It, and it's a novel by Sarah Weeks. I think I've heard of Sarah Weeks. It's published by Scholastic, so it must be a YA or middle grade book, and just from reading the cover, it looked interesting, and since they had so many of them, I thought one of them at least needed a home, and decided to go ahead and pick this up. So I will probably try to get to this sometime soon, and I'll let you know about it. And then if you decide you want your own copy, I could probably go pick it up for you and send you one, because they were pretty cheap. I've mentioned before that I love fun titles. This is Little Blog on the Prairie by Kathleen David Bell, and this just looked really cute. It's about a girl and her family who go to live in like a reenactment camp where they are reenacting the year 1890. So this is about a girl named Genevieve Welsh. She's a teenager whose mom signs up their whole family to go to Camp Frontier, which is basically a reenactment of 1890. And so she has to give up all of her electronics and everything, and they go to live in this camp as their family vacation for the summer. So I think this sounds pretty entertaining, and I'm looking forward to reading it. All right, now this last book. I don't know how much I want to say about this, because I have read this, and I could either just tell you there are no words, or I could say don't get me started, because this book is so frustrating. So that being said, why did I buy this book? Well, I read this book earlier in the year, and it is fulfilling one of the prompts on the Ultimate Reading Challenge. So when I saw it come through our donation bin at my library, I decided to go ahead and pick it up, because when I do that wrap up, I thought it would be good to have, I wanted to be able to show the book. I had never heard a word about this book. It was published in 2007, but earlier this year I've heard one booktuber mention it, and they just read a little bit of the synopsis, and so I perked up and thought, oh, what? And because I may have mentioned on an earlier video that I have a theme park job. It may or may not be the same theme park where this book takes place, because I'm not at liberty to talk about my particular theme park job on social media. However, let me just tell you, this book is way off. Okay, the setting of this book is ridiculous. Okay, this is not true. Well, we know it's not true. The premise isn't true, but the setting where it is this is so frustrating. Because this is not what it's like, people. This is not what it says in here is not what it's like to do what they're talking about in here. I don't know, I'm being really vague. If you really want to know what I'm talking about, you can go look up this book, read the premise, and let me just tell you, this isn't how it is. Okay, I have worked in a particular job, of which I will not tell you about, for 25 years. This is not it. So I've said more about it than I intended to say, and I may edit out some of that. It's so ridiculous that I almost want everybody I work with to read it so that they can experience the angst that I felt when reading this book. I did take it to work, and I read a few bits to different people, and they're like, what? What? So it's just a ridiculous book, and I'm really amazed that it was published. And you can go to my Goodreads page if you want, and you can see a little bit more about what I thought about it. But I don't recommend it. Really, I don't. That's it for my books for young readers and YAs, middle schoolers, and so forth. And I'll be coming back soon. I've got a tag video that I need to do, as well as some new tags. I keep talking about them. Keep trying to get everything else out of the way. And I've got a couple of brand new tags that I've been working on, and those I hope will be coming out within the next month or two. And I've got some more book reviews of the Sunshine State Young Reader Award finalists, and I am going to be getting some more of those posted very shortly. So I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.